This is a freaking powerhouse of a company. Mid-school vibes from tip to tail and still in it today. Grab your rice lager and horoscope because it's time to talk Aries. What up people, Derek here with Bendy Tubes and two hot things. Number one, 1,000 subscribers. What? Thank you everybody that has hit subscribe. I can't believe it. Truly appreciate it. Number two, obviously was the 60th video, which is mind-boggling, if you will. Can't believe we've reached that milestone. 2,000 subs, 60 videos. This one's gonna be 61, and let's jump into it. I'm gonna do it one episode, the whole thing coming out on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Let's get into Aries. As always, I want to thank the people that support us this last year. KHE, 4 Pegs, Ground Whip, Flatland Fuel, Paragon, and Cincinnati Flatland Fanatics. Thank you all. And you're going to see some new references today because Kunstform created an archive of all the stuff that they used to sell from 05 to 15. Best of the mid-school, so go check it out. You can't buy anything, but you sure can look at it. Sebastian, Donka, this is so awesome. So back in the late 80s, two fellers' paths crossed on the island of Japan. Katsusera and Yosuke Ono, better known as York, and these dudes popped on the contest scene. They rode some bikes, they won some stuff, and they dreamed of a company that listened to riders. Now the name Aries doesn't actually come from the astrological sign, it is Sarah spelled backwards. So in 1990, Katsu, then president of Fun Fancy Corporation, or FFC, partnered with York and Kenji Horikawa to form Aries. Like all of our big dogs, we're gonna go model lineup by model lineup over the years, and they hit the ground scuffing with their first entry in 1999, the Ares Ashura. Designed by York himself, this was a mid-school Jinko jean wearing Osiris D3 scuffing Surge Energy Drink Power Flatland Dream Bike, y'all! Space up front for so many activities because of that big, beautiful bend, and lowered rear triangle for some deep scuffs on that back wheel. Massive gusset up front, pierced top tube, gusset on the underside of that top tube near the seat post, dinner plate size dropouts, y'all, chonkin' whip. Whenever it started out, it had 1875 top tube and a mellow 74-degree head tube angle, 13 out back on the chainstay. Y'all, this is a piece of history. I should also note that this was sold as a complete, full of their parts from their component wing 88 products, and these are super flatland focused bits. Bars and pegs and seats and tires and radial lace wheels, all the bits, and one of one prototype popped up recently for sale with that system diatech internal headset. Good job buying it, whoever you are. Then this thing lost a little weight on its next release. In 05, we got the same bigly bent down tube, but it got skinnier. Familiar profile, but more reserved. Seat stays hit the top tube, they got rid of that under tube gusset. Progressive design for sure. Version 3 of the Aries Ashura dropped in 2010. This one getting a little slimmer still. A lot of the same characteristics, less bend on the down tube this time. Sold as a complete, maybe a frame. This one switched up the dims a bit to an 18.5 top tube and a 75-degree head tube angle. Also, the completes kind of look mid-tier. Mostly I say this because of the one-piece cranks, but don't let me fool you. There are absolutely 12-year-olds in Japan that will shred this better than me. So, dope bike. Version 4 of the founder York Ono's signature model is proper mid-school. Dropped in 14 is the 15th anniversary of the company. Tiny tubes, sleek as heck. They kept that bent down tube, kept the gusset. For the dropouts, we're talking porterhouse down to a Michelin star size serving. Beautiful frame, built up with the right bits. This thing is a stunner. There's also a Pro Complete out there, the bike that popped up on Flatland Fuel at one point. And I also want to note that the 88 products that were their component wing eventually became Aristic, and they dropped pedals and brake pads and hubs and pegs. Proper iconic mid-school flatland bike in the Ares Ashura, and there is no better way to start this video. Now there was another early model, the Bossa Nova, and I honestly always thought that this was like a street bike, but really I think it's a more street flatland hybrid. The first version had an aircraft carrier long 19.8 top tube, and I legit am glad that I used that analogy because they had colors like F-15, Navy, and Poseidon, so inadvertent pun. They dropped a second version in 05 with a 19.75 top tube. Still Aries for sure. Bent down tube, top tube pierced by the seat tube. Not their most beautiful bike in my opinion as we talk proportions, but as we get deeper into the model lineup, like this is a piece of history for sure. Next, we have the choice. Alex Jumelin's signature frame. Easy way to think about this, aluminum Ashura. Side by side, there ain't much of a difference other than those chonky welds that are a characteristic of aluminum in a clear giveaway, and this joins the ranks of all of our other flatland aluminum frames, so welcome to the club. Dims, about the same, 18.5 top tube. This ran from 03 to 04-ish, and then there's this. This one is truly special, the Ares Choice AXL Titanium. Our second mid-school titanium flatland frame, 18.3 top tube, 3.9 pounds back in like 04, maybe 05. That's like 1 pound after inflation, people. Super dope frame, but just so rare. Same profile though, Aries all day long, bent down tube, gusset up front. This time the seat stays land for the seat post. Cleaned up for sure. Mid-generation tube diameters, not too big, not too small. Once again, progressive design from Aries. And that was it for Alex and Aries. But dude is still riding, and in fact, back on a titanium frame, no less. Coffee. Next, in no particular order, maybe in 01 or 02, we got the Dita. I found conflicting information on whose signature frame this was. Was it Taikyo Azawa or Taishi Ito's signature frame? Unsure. This is another in a long line of bent tube bikes from Aries. 18.9 top tube, super sleek. Not as curvy as the Ashura, but clean lines for sure. The good Lord graced us with a Dita Pro in 07 is the second version that went through the same nip and tuck as the Ashura. Then her tubes, top and down tubes no longer conjoined up with the head tube, back brakes. Well, the gyro tab, machine dropout, stuff like that. Nice bike, like it. Then there was also this version that was stamped DITANP for Nathan Panonzik. Same silhouette, but an even longer 19.25 top tube, 75-degree head tube angle, and more Canadian world-class capability than a can of Molson strapped to 2 ice skates. I loved Nathan's style back in the days, just so smooth. Another dope offering, but let's push our way to the next model, the Aries Force, and the signature model of Terry Adams. This one stands out for sure from the Aries lineup because of that bend near the seat tube. 18.9 top tube, 75-degree head tube angle, 13 out back. This frame has the same gusseted bent down tube, but Terry added that top tube bend to make it more unique. I actually got a chance to ask him about this at Battleground 2 over a year ago, and he said that that was his favorite detail, and it really stood out, making the bike once again unique. This ran from early 02 out to about 05, and man, just iconic frame, especially here in the States. I remember seeing so many of Terry's most insane tricks on this bike. Pimp glides, Katrinas, like things nobody else is doing today or ever. Unique tricks from a legend in our sport with a super unique frame. Okay, people, let's move on to the A, Y, or A. I don't know which one it is. Designed once again by York, this is another long, multi-year, multi-iteration model. This thing here is the first one, I believe. Let's say it is because it has an AY sticker and those tubes are touching at the front end. Another unmistakable Aries bike. And there really aren't that many references out there for this OG AY, but the big differentiator from this and the Ashura is the top tube. This one started out at 18.5, I think. Then we get the Ayex as early as 04, and it lost some weight in those tubes. Bit shorter than the rest, still remaining 18.5. Now you'd be forgiven if you mistake the Ayex for the Ashura at the time, but we're gonna keep going because there's so many more bikes. In 07, the tubes got skinnier again with the Ayex 2007. This is a low slung 3.9 pound, 18.5 top tube parking lot Punisher. Ugh. Then in 08, we get the Ayex 47 or maybe 48. This one, 18.9 top tube, and I believe it's a 48 for the 480 millimeter translation there. So easy conversion. 480 millimeters is 18.9 inches or 0.525 yards or 0.000299494 miles. Easy. I don't know why people say that the metric system is easier than the standard system. Still has that 75-degree head tube angle, but once again lost some more weight, tipping the scales at 3.6 pounds, people, of fully heat-treated mid-school hardware. And finally, wrapping up the ultra-progressive AY lineup, the 2009 AY Spear. This is peak. Tip of the iceberg, culmination of 4 generations of progress, 3.3 pounds of steel. That's science, that's technology, that's wall thickness, that's all things design. Just snipped and tucked and hollowed out, 18.5 top tube. Look at this neon avocado beauty. In that back end, people, the prototype had an 11-inch chainstay. The production went up to 12.4, but I was wondering like what the limit of chainstay size is, and it's about 11. My goodness, look at how tiny that is. And yo, Thiago, this one with the 1.3 rear tire, insane. And I thought I was done with the AY lineup on the AY Spear. However, Yahoo Japan had other ideas, so I present the Aries AY DAW. 2011, Aries decided to go straight edge and introduce the prototype DAW, 18.5, 12.8 out back, and a smooth 74.5 degree head tube angle. This thing is slick, decked out with their newer component wing, Aristic, like I said. Before we wrap up the bottom bins of Aries and their OG story, let's talk little bikes. And I mean really, really little bikes. In 08, the Ares STN dropped a 16-inch version of basically the AY or Dita or Ashura or all or none. And talk about pulling in the younger generation. Legit flatland dimensions. 14.9 top tube, 16-inch wheels, tiny cute little bars and cranks and full-size seat and stuff like that, but focused on flatland. 75-degree head tube angle. Y'all wonder why there are so many kids in Japan riding? It's because they have bikes like this to learn on. So great to see this enabling the next generation, and I mean, look at this one! Brakeless! This thing is serious! But before we jump from the STN, there was of course a second version, this time aluminum, straight tubes, front and back brakes, free coaster, little lighter weight for those little shredders to handle a little easier. Well done, Aries, for sure. And then instead of leaving a gap between 16 and 20, they made the 8-it Comp, an 18-inch flatland frame that followed the same trajectory as the STN. Bent down tube, 75-degree head tube angle, and it grows a bit to a 17.5-inch top tube. Second version, maybe concurrent version, even had straight tubes and
aluminium.
Great proportions, legit mini flatland bike for mini flatland shredders. Now those are the OGs of the Aries lineup, the bottom bins. Like all good mid-school companies, Aries realized it's time for mo bins because the mo bins, the mo better. And the first of our double bent bikes is gonna be the Aries N from 2004. Designed by Akira Okamura, this frame is elegant. That's the only word I can use to describe it. That subtle slope on the top tube, combination of gusset up front and a signature Aries kink on the back of the down tube, drop outs, press fit headset, Euro bottom bracket, back brakes, clean bike. It's also worth noting that Akira Okamura won Worlds on this bike in 2.4, so I've said it before with the Motion and other bikes, and I'll say it again. Championship piece of hardware, people. Really dope frame, a little bit longer, 19.3 top tube. As the bends get more bodacious, in 05 we introduced the Elcyc, L-E-L-C-Y-C, the next generation of their double bent bikes. This time that top tube bend is way more pronounced. And honestly, it's more of two kinks than one bend, with that signature kink down tube once again, back brakes, nicely machined dropouts, 18.8 top tube, a little bit smaller, and this thing is casting off pre-ramen vibes all day long. And this is complete, this one right here, so dope, so slick, love it. And now, the peak mid-school frame from Aries, the tip of the iceberg, the precipice of mid-schoolery, the one of the, and the only of three, Ares Garuda! Hiro Murasaki's signature frame from Aries. In 08, we got the most beautiful flatland frame ever. Bar none, full stop. This bike is breathtaking. Signature bent down tube, such a tiny, crazy bike. Look at that slopey bend on the top tube. You all know Hiro likes his bike shorter, so this one rocked a 17.9 top tube, tiny 75-degree head tube angle, and this was after his Quaman Delta days, but there's no offset bottom bracket. Fully heat treated, 3.6 pounds, people. Now, I had a chance to get one of these back probably about a year or two ago, and I thought it was gonna be the best thing since sliced bread. It was a rad frame, no doubt. Looked amazing, built up, as you can see here, but it was just too short for me. My heel hit the back peg, my toe hit the tire constantly. And that's fine. I love that shorter riders can get shorter bikes. I probably needed shorter cranks to fit it too. But man, what a bike. In 2010, Aries came back with the Garuda 2010, similar but improves on this formula even further. Another shorty, 17.9. This time, the most specific head tube angle I've ever quoted, 74.75 degrees with a 12/8 chainstay. This version's a little less slopey from front to back, but it keeps that bottom tube bend, moves it forward just a hair. Another absolute stunner of a mid-school bike. And for good measure, there's a 2011 SP version of this frame, same head tube angle. But now there's two lengths, 17.9 or 18.7. And y'all, once again, we are at the peak of mid-school design for Aries, y'all. This is amazing. Bendy rating of 41, which I haven't been doing a lot lately, but this is in the top two behind the RIP. I love this bike. I really still wish I had my V1 for the collection, but it happens. But check out this advertisement from the Aries Facebook page. So rad. I also want to call out, this is probably one of the key survivor mid-school flatland bikes that's ridden today. Yoshiro Shinde, Riku, Jeff DeRoche, Monica Hens. This bike is still super relevant today and forever. And let's be honest, not too many mid-school bikes are still have the staying power of the Garuda. It's so unique, so beautiful, just peak Aries. Before we jump away from the double bends, I found a bike in Japan that I didn't know existed called the 5 Alive, which was a complete. This was targeted to be a budget version of the Garuda, and this thing looks wicked, people. In my opinion, one of the best looking completes. Double bent tubes, gusset up front, great proportion, same top tube, 17.9 up front, 13.8 out back, 75-degree head tube angle. Like I said, once again, not top of the line, press fit headset, fixed brake hardware, but man, one-piece crank, American bottom bracket. However, look at it, so well placed, so well positioned as an offering for flatland bikes. Thank you, Toro, for the insights from Japan on this bike. And of course, this had a couple versions too, highlighted here. The second version dropped that bend on the top to go with a more traditional Aries profile. Bent down tube, still clean, still like it. Same entry or mid-level flatland rig, one-piece crank, stuff like that. And that's it for the double bends, people. But before we go straight edge into the new school, there's one ultra unique frame that came out from Aries. More of a brutalist interpretation of like a Heresy Ascend or a We the People Utopia. And I present the Aries V. In 2019, Aries teamed up with Jorge Vicky Gomez to release the frame, the V. V for Vicky, that plays into the top tube design. Ultra bent and kinked top tube. Straight down tube, almost an upside down sick child bada bling or aqueduct. Whiplash machine. Probably super easy to jump around that head tube too. But man, what a design. Really, really unique. Pays homage to the Magic Fruits Akira for sure. 19.5 top tube, 12.8 center on the rear end, 75-degree head tube angle. Nice machining on the head tube and dropouts, removable brake hardware, stuff like that. Aries V, they're super rare. I never see them built up. Couple pictures of them. There's one for sale on Homage actually, but super unique offering for sure. And now let's talk new school. Beyond the bins, this is gonna be a lot. I don't want to just sit here and rattle off bikes in the timeline, but that's pretty much what I'm gonna do because there's so many. So if you like that, awesome. If you don't, I'm sorry and you're welcome for information. Here we go. In 2012, Aries dropped the A+, tiny at 18.3 inch top tube, high tech for sure. 37 pounds, 12.8 chainstay, 74.5 degree head tube angle, ultra low step over and stack height. More importantly, this bike has a super steep seat tube angle of 73.5 degrees. As an FYI, this may or may not be known as the A+ 465, once again, noting the top tube length. There's also a possibility that this is another one of Hiro Murasaki's frames, but I'm not sure. Then there's the A+ 470 in 2013, and this extended that top tube to 18.5 versus 18.3. This is aimed more at the average height Japanese flatland rider, which coincidentally is 170 centimeters, which is this many feet and inches, because I didn't do the math. Thoughtful, once again, progressive, smooth, super duper smooth pancake dropouts. Right on. There may have been an A+ DAW as well. Finally, there was an A+ V3 in 2013 with more incremental progress. Y'all, the Japanese truly embody continuous incremental improvement mindsets. I also have to mention the Aries A+, it's coming in complete for a while. Like you could go get one from Flatland Fuel today. 18.5 top tube, front back brakes, mid-tier, but rad. Several versions of the complete existed too. In 2017, they had an EX and a Comp and A+ Pro. There was even a Toyota collab. Yes, Toyota, the automotive company, partnered with Aries to have a lottery for 5 of these Aries A+ Hilux. And for us Americans that don't know what the heck a Hilux is, it's like an international market Toyota Tacoma. Aries goes from partnering with Toyota to keeping it super low key. And I found a pretty under the radar street bike here in America, the Aries Naga, and this one belonged to Matthias Dandois. Freaking Matthias on Aries, people. No idea. I can only find one reference to this bike and it was on the Aries Facebook page, but man, really cool find. For frames and completes, you also get the Aries S-Kill or Skill, maybe a 19-inch top tube, mid-tier flatland complete, or frame only. Versions 1, versions 2 existed. And there's the Aries Sword, a 19.5-inch hybrid flat street complete. And if the Sword is the flat street complete, the Aries AFX is the 19.5-inch flatland focus complete. Then there's Yohei Uchino's signature frame, the Goodspeed, in 2016. A 19.3 or 19.7 full-size flat frame, people. No low step over. This is a straight-up street-looking frame squeezed between 2 tiny little wheels with some knurled pegs. Even a quick clip of Quentin Pelleroson shredding this thing. Didn't know about that either. In 2019, you get the Aries XX, which was released for their 20th anniversary, currently available in an 18.5 or 19.3 top tube, sub 4 pound, 75 degree head tube angle, good looking new school bike. Nice frame, simple short rear end at 12.7. And y'all, this matte olive green is tempting as heck. That is a beautiful color. Finally! In 2022, Aries released another highly controversial flatland frame in
aluminium.
the game changer. I have this because nobody makes freaking aluminum frames anymore. Y'all, this thing is stiff. This thing is light and small and super responsive. I love the graphics under the clear coat. 18.5 or 19.3 top tube, ultra short, 12.2 to 12.8 chainstay. Y'all, I like it. I'm gonna build it up to get a clip before I post this. 2.6 pounds, people. That's titanium weight for the cost of chromoly, and that's where aluminum fits in. We know it's not indestructible. This thing isn't gonna last forever. It's about 1/3 to 1/2 of the tensile strength of titanium, and a lot of this comes down to density and atom crystalline structures. Aluminum also has a characteristic of being stiff versus titanium. That's why when it fails, it snaps. Titanium allows some flex and harmonic dampening. All that to say, I love that there's at least one aluminum flatland frame on the market today. This is a materials nod to the mid-school for sure, so Ares, arigato. Ares has also made so many bits. So many bits. Hubs, bars, pegs, seats, tire, all the bits, and they're available at Flightlane Fuel if you want to go buy them right now, but I just need to do a video on the bits of Ares too. From 88 to Heuristic to Ares' own branded stuff now, they have specialized in Flatland bits forever. And so, I think that that's it. And literally as I'm typing this, I did a quick check, and that's when I added the Sword and the AFX and the Goodspeed. So many frames, people, this many actually, and I forgot to count before I recorded this. And literally as I'm trying to close this video out, typing it up, I checked again and found more, so this may never get published because Ares was so prolific. So let's squeeze in a few more frames for tiny bikes. How tiny? Freaking training wheels tiny. Sidebar, has anybody ever used training wheels to help with balance on tricks? Anybody? Post a picture. Let me know in the comments. In the middle, we got the Ares Stilo, a street bike. This is a newer model for them. As my dad always says, nothing to brag about, nothing to complain about. And for bigger bikes, Ares made this nugget of radassery, the Stilo FS24, a 24-inch flatland freestyle frame, 24 inches. Ares has done an awesome job making all these bikes proportional, not just like a put it in, it's the same size. There's a pinch and squeeze for the smaller, and there's a crop out for the bigger. 20.5 top tube, 24-inch wheel, 75-degree head tube angle. Let's not forget the city bike, the Over One. And props to Ares IG Customs project that they did on Instagram. Here's a couple results from that initiative to add to the pile. BMX Ramon even got one that he rocked for a hot second, and this thing is very, very beautiful, and it was for sale recently, but it made it back into the hands of BMX Ramon, which I'm stoked about. Really, really cool. And then this other green one here looks kind of like a prototype I saw when researching. If I can find a picture, I will, but supposedly Ares trying to make a straight tube modern Garuda. They didn't like the weight. They made two. They sold two as prototypes a few years ago. I can't find a picture, but man, that thing was beautiful. And y'all, what's this? I don't know what I'm referencing, but I hope I can find it. If you have this frame, please post pictures. I wrote it, but I don't know what it is. All right, like I said, this thing's gonna go on forever. I found this, the Ares Folk Fixie 510 millimeter fixed gear bike that they made. At one point, they even partnered with Hidden Champion to do a collab on this thing. Man, I was in the last 2 minutes of finishing this. I had to add this. And so that's all the bikes, people. That is all the bikes of Ares. And there were so many good riders. I've already talked about them, but let's list a few of them. Kenji Horikawa, Takashi Ito, Alexander Jumelin, Simon O'Brien, Akira Okamura, Yoshiro Shinde, Yasuki Shinjo, Corey Strickcheck, Yasushi Tanabe, Yasuke Uno, Yahi Uchino, Nathan Panonzik, Hiro Murasaki, Matthias Dandewa, Terry Adams. Y'all, what a freaking crew. Let's put a bow on this thing, people. That is Ares, Katsu Sera, Yosuke Uno. Thank you for all these amazing bikes, all these amazing memories, all this amazing aluminum. And there you go, people. Full-size Bendy Tubes. Holy cow. I can't talk anymore for the rest of the day. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Bendy Tubes, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for participating. Thanks for telling me your stories. Thanks for engaging. Thanks for correcting me when I do things wrong. Y'all, what a journey. We've still got more to go. We got at least another year or two. So let's keep going. Derek, Bendy Tubes, thanks for watching.